What is going on, everybody? Weedle here, and we are back with another Sun and Moon Wi-Fi battle. I know it's been a minute since I've uploaded a video, but understand that I'm a busy-ass dude that has a life, unlike most PokeTubers, so unfortunately, don't have the most free time in the world, but I make it work. But anyway, I'm battling the same opponent as I battled in my last video, so if you guys are interested in a Wi-Fi battle place, you want to hang out and stuff, feel free to check out my Discord. A link will be in the description below. There's a lot of people itching for a battle on there, so yeah, definitely feel free to check that out. Now, we're using the same team as our last battle, so there's not much to talk about. We already know some intel about each other's teams. My opponent pretty much knows every single move of my Tropius, most of what my Manectric does, so I'm at a pretty big disadvantage with my Tropius. Can't quite use the trump card that I had in my last game, because my opponent will not let me get a free substitute off, so gotta keep that in mind for this game. My opponent decides to lead off with Aerodactyl this time around instead of Togekiss, as I decide to lead off with my Thor on my Manectric. Now, turn 1, I'm just like, well, I don't want to stay in the Data Earthquake because it'll hurt a lot. So, I'm going to switch out, bring in my Vaporeon here, as my opponent does decide to Mega Evolve with this Aerodactyl. Not too surprising here, as Caitlyn is going to Mega Evolve the Aerodactyl, and it's going to get a Goatee and some spikes. Mega Aerodactyl looks so derpy, I don't know what it is, I just think its original looks so much better than its Mega form, and that's a rare case from the Mega Pokemon. Anyway, gonna get the Tink that Stone Edge like it's nothing, so I'm Vaporeon. Now, I do apologize, this battle is gonna be a pretty long battle because it was 41 turns, and this is partially my fault because, as you guys can see here, I'm running the Skillful Toxic, the low ladder special. So, as you guys know, the Toxic Wish Protect special that every low ELO player uses, pretty strategic and takes a lot of skill to use. So at the very least, we're able to nail this Togekiss with the Toxic, and this is another reason why this game lasts forever, because this Togekiss, my opponent is going to play very conservatively in this game, which is fair enough, he wants to win, but this is going to prolong this battle a lot longer than it needs to, as you'll see. So the Togekiss being poisoned means that it's eventually going to die. It will die eventually if it stays in for too long. The poison will rack up, and eventually the offensive pressure will be able to knock out the Togekiss. But I don't want to let my Vaporeon get too low because I do need it for Crocodile slash Crocodile and the Aerodactyl. So I want to keep it alive. My opponent doesn't expect me to protect or switch out, so she goes for a Roost, just so her Togekiss is a little more healthy so she can withdraw. As I'm going to take the Wish, Togekiss is going to take some poison damage, and now it's around a quarter health damage. That's not too shabby. It's now going to be forced out here, bringing my Manectric. I don't care if I get punished by this Dazzling Gleam. I just cannot sit there for too many turns in a row and wish to protect Toxic Stalling. That's so boring. I cannot do it. Even if I get punished for it, I just cannot sit there and do it. I have to play offensively. So, bringing my Manectric here. I know my opponent is going to switch out because, God forbid, she sacks off her Togekiss. So, figured she'd switch into either Latias or Crocodile. So, I go for Switcheroo instead of Hidden Power Ice because I figured she would free that. As she brings in a Scizor here, I give that thing the choice back. So, at the very least, the Scizor will be unable to do much to my team thanks to that it now has choice back. So, pretty nice. Going to switch out my Manectric here to bring in my surprise Michael Fable, assuming that she's not going to go for Bullet Punch. Actually chooses to double out and brings in her Latias. I was not expecting the Latias to switch in. I was expecting a U-turn, but this works as well. As now the Latias is going to go for the Side Shock, I should be able to face tank this because I'm Clef. And here, instead of going for the Moonblast like a decent player, I decide to troll and use Metronome. Go figure. As I go for the Dark Void, unfortunately, I cannot be an Uber Noob because the game mechanics have changed. So any Pokemon that gets Dark Void from Metronome can actually not use it because just how it works. Now only Darkrai can use Dark Void, and they nerf Dark Void to the ground. So in my opinion, Darkrai should be OU, just low-key. But that's just my opinion. But anyway, I'm gonna get some nice Oblivion Wing recovery there with my next Metronome. I gotta easily click Moonblast twice and knock this thing up, but that would be too easy for me, and God forbid that I take any battle seriously at all. So anyway, in comes Latias. Gonna switch into that Psyshock pretty easily, as now the Latias is gonna be forced out of here, and she makes a really good play bringing in her Scizor. For some reason, I just did not think about this, so I go for a knockoff, and the Scizor is going to remove its choice back, so now it's actually a threat again. Really obnoxious. I did not expect him to switch into Scizor. That was very well played. I just was not thinking about that at the time. Definitely should have, but it was one of those heat of the battle situations where I just wasn't thinking about it, and I'm like, this is the freest knockoff of my life, but then the Scizor comes flying, and now she roosts, so all the damage I just did with was nullified, and now she's going to be forced out into Latias again, as I'm able to get my free Stealth Rocks here, so at the very least the Stealth Rocks are going to pressure my opponent from switching, which will make dealing with the team a little bit easier, but of course, since every Latias carries Defog, and is from Gen 4 magically, we already know the Defog's coming, but I'm going to bring my Scrafty anyway, hoping that she goes for Draco, but she just goes for Defog, really annoying, so now the Togekiss is going to come in healthier, and it's going to be even a bigger pain to deal with. So the majority of this game is just me trying to break through this defensive core, which really isn't even that defensive, but it's just I have a hard time dealing with it. As here, I expect to switch into Togekiss, so I double into my Thor on my Manectric, but the Scizor comes in instead. That is fair enough. As now, I do carry the Overheat, I also carry Thunderbolt and HP Ice, so I'm gonna actually choose to double switch out, expecting to switch into Latias, knowing that my Scald's not gonna, or not, my Hidden Power Ice is not gonna do anything, as my opponent is gonna switch into Latias, so I'm able to get that play correctly. And there's so much switching in this game because I know how conservatively my opponent's been playing this entire game, so I need to take advantage of any single play that I can if I want to make this game as short as possible. So if I'm not making these aggressive double switches, this game would last even longer than it needs to. So you see the length of this video. It is a long ass game, and my aggressive plays are my attempt to make this game shorter. But here, the Togekiss obviously going to go for the Roost, because why would she let me kill off this Togekiss just to make you guys sit through a very entertaining and very entertaining Wi-Fi battle. So I'm going to go for Wish here, and going to get that off. And, I mean, no offense to my opponent, because the Wish toxic stalling is all my fault, and I know it's very boring to watch, but I didn't want to speed up this game too much, because then it's really hard to keep up with it. It's already sped up more than normal, although it's kind of hard to tell. But, yeah, it is sped up more than normal. As now I'm going to bring Clefable here to patch that Wish. I need this Clefable healthy, and I know Metronome is a nice niche I have to get some nice random hacks, pretty much. Like, Metronome, and just toss the coin and hope something good happens. And obviously it's not competitively viable really, but I love Metronome, and I need to do like Metronome 1v1s because those seem fun. But yeah, the Togekiss is gonna go for Roost again. God forbid she allows me to kill off this Togekiss, as I actually choose to go for Moonblast this time because I realize I'm like, if I want this game to end soon, I should stop clicking Metronome. So I decided to click Moonblast this time. It doesn't do anything, but it does do enough damage to the point where the poison's gonna start whittling down this Togekiss. So if she wants to save it, her best bet is to switch out. So she's gonna choose to withdraw, bring in her Aerodactyl, her Speedo, as I'm gonna actually just choose to go for Metronome, I believe. I think I did that expecting her to switch out, but I get Fire Fang, hoping I can get this nice spicy burn hacks here, but unfortunately unable to get the burn, as now Aerodactyl can just Stone Edge me, but here she decides to taunt me so I can't Metronome anymore. That was kind of an interesting play, but I choose to go for Ice Beam here. And since I'm using Metronome Clefable, I get the lucky freeze hack, since this Clefable seems to be like the luckiest Clefable I've ever used in my life. So apparently, when you use the Metronome Clefable, it like automatically gets Serene Grace as like its secondary ability, which is pretty cool. We're not playing Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, because those mechanics did exist in that game. You can have like 3 abilities in Super Mystery Dungeon if I recall correctly, so it was like ridiculous. So you can have like Flash Fire and shit like that. God, it was ridiculous. But here, gonna let my Clefable take this Air Slash, get flinched, luckily, the nice lucky flinch hacks, as I don't want to get flinch hacks with my Togekiss, with my Clefable to death. Even though the Togekiss will eventually be forced to Roost, I just don't want it to get flinched, so I'm going to switch out again, bring in my Life Guard, my Vaporeon, as I can just pass another Wish pretty freely here, as she's going to go for Dazzling Gleam, expecting my switch into the Manectric, I'm pretty sure, but I had no reason to make that play, as the poison is definitely helping me a lot. Like I said, this Toxic is actually saving my ass and dealing with this Togekiss, because if I did not have this poison on it, dealing with this freaking monster would be super obnoxious. In fact, I'm sure it was thinking 1v6 my entire team had I not had this Toxic, but thankfully, the skillful Toxic does come through this time around. She gets a crit, no flinch though. The Togekiss not getting that lucky, not living up to Togekiss's name in this game, which I'm fine with, because I'd make this game last even longer, and God forbid this game lasts even longer. I'm pretty sure it's the longest Sun Moon battle uploaded up to date. I'm pretty sure. This battle is probably going to be like at least 15 minutes long, which is actually ridiculous, but all good, all good. Anyway, I don't want to stay in here. I'm going to pass my Wish back into Clefable, as she does go for Roost again. I'm surprised my opponent does not click T-Wave at all this game. She does not want to click T-Wave because she doesn't want me to switch to my Manectric, but I have no reason to make that switch at this point. I'm just trying to weaken this Togekiss. The poison is whittling it down. You can Roost all you want. Eventually, this bitch is going to fall. You just gotta let me kill this stupid-ass Togekiss. Please just let me kill it. But I'm going to choose to switch out here. I expected her to want to double switch here. It was a pretty aggressive play, but she decides to go for Air Slash. I thought maybe she'd go for Thunder Wave there, but she doesn't. She goes for Air Slash. Good play. She's not allowing me to get my Manectric to get the free Lightning Rod boost that I got the last game. I was kind of hoping I can catch that free Lightning Rod, but it's unlikely. But now my Manectric is back in here, and this Togekiss is at half health. I'm like, please, just let me kill this thing off. And finally, my opponent just lets the Togekiss fucking die. Thank you. Oh my gosh, this literally took 6 minutes to kill, but we finally did it. We did it. We killed the stupid Togekiss, and the leftovers I stole from the Scizor are actually coming in handy for helping this Manectric live longer in this game. But unfortunately, this Manetric's time to die is now, because this Togekiss is finally dead, so now this Manectric can now die in peace, because I don't have to worry about it damaging the Togekiss now that it's freaking dead, finally. So anyway, gonna bring in Scrafty here. I'm pretty sure this Crocodile is Choice Scarf because I have that information from the last game, and unless she did a switcheroo on me, I don't think she's going to switch up moves. So she's going to be forced out of here. She's going to bring in my little Opini, the legit shiny Keldeo, because Keldeo can be nicknamed now, it can also be shiny, so totally legitimate. I was going to bring in Clefable here, expecting to switch into Keldeo, as I don't want to stay and take the Specs Hydro, so I'm going to switch into my Vaporeon here. I thought maybe she'd go for the Hydro Pump this time, but she does make the really nice read going for Secret Sword and knocking my Vaporeon. And I've seen some in the comments lately that people are like, wow, your opponents are so freaking bad. How is it even possible to be this bad? And I'm like, they're not even bad. Like, I don't know why people think they're bad. It's like I outplay them, so they're automatically bad. Like, no. I don't know why people automatically have that assumption, but they do. So anyway, I'm able to freaking roast the Scizor on the switch, and that was a pretty obvious play, and that was not a bad play on her part. It's just that I want to end this game up as fast as possible, so I'm playing so aggressively to compensate for how long and stally the first half of the battle was, or actually the first 3/4 of the battle. This battle was so long. Here she misses the Specs Hydro Pump. That was very unfortunate, but like I said, this Clefable like the hacks god. The Z Metronome Clefable was actually hacks Jesus. Like I didn't think it was possible. But you know, I get the special attack drop as well, so the freaking Z Hydro Pump does not do shit. So now I decided to use my freaking Z Metronome now, because I'm like, it's now or never. The game has given me the chance. So I actually get Z Iron Tail, which gives me Corkscrew Crash. I would have loved to gotten this on the Togekiss, as we're able to freaking drill this freaking Keldeo to death. Like I said, if I got that on the Togekiss, that would have been so nice, but unfortunately, I got freaking Fire Fang and stuff, so what can I do? But I got Z-Metal Cell last game, so I can't really complain. I can't get good rolls in Metronome every game. But I'm going to go for Metronome again, because my Clefable should be dead, so I'm just going to throw a rock at the Crocodile just to tickle it a little bit, get some nice chip damage off. My Clefable should be dead, so that's why I decided to go for Metronome instead of Moonblast there, as my opponent just knocks me out with Stone Edge. I kind of like let my opponent get this free kill. I could have went for Moonblast and just killed him, but I felt really bad about that Keldeo situation, so I kind of just let her kill me. As now I'm going to bring my Callum here. This Clefable actually, like, low-key carries me with just hacks. Like, the Z Metronome did not do me shit in this game, but the freaking hacks, the freaking Ice Beam Freeze, the Keldeo dodge, and the special attack drop, like, how do you even get that lucky? This Clefable is actually, like, freaking god. Like, I think this Clefable, like, took Togekiss' role in this game. Yeah, pretty much, like, Togekiss turned to the immortal god that Clefable is, and Clefable turned to the freaking hacks god that Togekiss is. So they switched roles in this game. As here, I'm finally able to knock out this Latias with the knockoff, as the battle's finally coming to a close, because my opponent's last mon is going to be Slim Shady the Crocodile, and even if she knocks me out with Superpower Earthquake, I do have Tropius in the back, which should be able to take care of this game. So my Scrafty is going to go down to the Superpower, as down the thing goes. Not too big of a deal, because like I said, I do have Tropius in the back, as going to get the Moxie boost with Crocodile. Not going to make too big of a difference, because in comes my Tropius, and unless she switched out the Choice Scarf for this game, which it appears she did not, this game should be mine to win, as I'm able to tank the Superpower, thankfully, get the defense lower, and now I should be able to knock out this Crocodile with the Leaf Blade, and that's going to be a good game. So, like I said, this game is pretty intense, a lot of hacks, but this game was a lot closer than our last one, and I promised my opponent I upload both games, though I was debating on not uploading this game for how long it was, but I decided to give it a shot and see if you guys liked it. So if you guys did enjoy this game, definitely feel free to hit that like button, though I do understand if you did not like this battle, because it's pretty long. But I mean, some battles are just long, and most of the competitive games are a lot longer than the shorter games, so keep that in mind. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. The question of the day is going to be, what is your favorite Generation 6 Pokemon? Now, my favorite Gen 6 Pokemon has got to be a tie between Malamar and Hawlucha. Those mons are my favorite from Gen 6. Don't ask me why. The designs are semi-questionable, but I think Malamar is awesome, and I also think freaking Hawlucha is, like, actually crazy. The first time I saw Hawlucha in-game, I got swept by it. It was pretty funny. It was some random trainer in XY, and I'm like, holy shit, Hawlucha's broken, and it actually is kind of good, so it's kind of surprising that it's still in RU. I'm surprised it hasn't gotten banned yet, but that's gonna be the battle, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll check you guys in my next video. Alright, peace.